And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is another patron roster review, just like my other roster reviews, except Atics Mathma has come recently to Team Instinct. He was one of my patrons, and of course, helping him in my Patreon, I found out that he had a very high galactic power and qualified for Team Instinct, and I suggested to him, since I have 4 other patrons in Team Instinct, that he might want to consider Team Instinct, and he jumped at the opportunity. He's currently in the world's first team with me. Phenomenal player, and I'm telling you, there are some people that like to spend no money in the game. There are some people that like to dolphin it out. There are others that like to whale it out and buy an occasional character from time to time. Atics Mathma is an absolute monster of a Kraken. Atics Mathma really, truly, at the end of the day, doesn't even need a roster review, but he's paying for Patreon, helping me out, and he's got the right to a roster review like everybody else. And the truth be told, he did want me to take a look at everything and make sure that he's not missing something significant in his arena or roster or anything. And so we are going to kind of go in there and take a look at everything. But really, for everybody else, this is more of kind of like going to the zoo and just kind of checking out the animals that are there and really just being in awe of all of the really cool animals that are available. Atics has got basically everything available to him, and so really for me, this is just fun to go through to see what's the possibilities. He's got so many things at gear 12. It's really just fun to kind of go through here and check this out. Now, what he's running is actually it's actually very specifically a team that came out not too long ago from Team Instinct called the Tiger Team. The Tiger Team was very offensive. There's no tanks whatsoever. It's using Leia, and of course using the new ATF Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, and then also using CLS R2 and Thrawn. Now, the only issue with this team is it has no tanks, and so on defense it's not going to hold, but neither does really any teams. But offensively, it absolutely dominates and just cuts right through. Now, one thing I have noticed is that Leia is broken on defense. She's not going stealth while stealthed, which she should do, because that's what you would do if it was your turn, is you would use the stealth mechanism while she's stealthed for the extra turn and the buffs that she provides. And those buffs she provides are going to in turn help Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum kick even more butt. And so with this team, I know you got a lot of options, but you might want to consider throwing an Old Ben in the place of Thrawn. With Old Ben there, he's going to provide even more buffs with like the defense up and stuff, and he's also going to put crit chance down on the opponent, which is non-avoidable, which means it'll go right through foresight. Even if they have foresight, he'll get that down. And he's got the highest armor rate in the game, and he's a rebel, so it will be a complete rebel team, which is really pretty exciting. So just a thought, you may want to put an Old Ben instead of Thrawn just to see that tweak. And it's called the Tiger 2.0 team, so it's still kind of the same team you're doing, just with 2 individuals that can kind of go through foresight. So pretty fun. So just a thought, and you may want to venture into that. Plus, you'll have a tank that has, once you put the Zeta on his defensive taunt, he'll be able to taunt right through another person's Thrawn that fractures him. So pretty exciting. But all in all, your arena looks really well. I know you said in Fleet Arena you're #1 and you've been there since day 1. Now, just to give everybody an idea, I say he's an uber Kraken, and we're going to go into that in a sec, but he's been playing for less than a year. That's right, less than a year. This is going to, this let my jaw drop just a little bit when I check this out. His roster looks better than mine. I have a little more galactic power. I have a whole year on him, and I think that's because I have some more ability mats on people, and I think that probably raises up the galactic power quite a bit. But I mean, look at this, absolutely crazy. I mean, he even has Mace Windu at gear 12. When Mace gets reworked, that's going to be exciting to be able to bring those in. But just absolutely crazy. Pretty much everybody's at gear 12. This is, you know, looks like a developer account. It's actually better than the developer account I have access to, because I haven't had time to gear 12 everything in there. But here's your Old Ben. This is the one I was suggesting, and it's maxed out for you except for his 2 Zetas. And the second Zeta is good, but the third ability and the first Zeta, Devoted Protector, this is the one where he gains taunt for one turn after he loses his original taunt. So what happens is somebody has Thrawn, more than likely because you're in the top 10, and they fracture him immediately because they're going to do that. And he's able, once he taunts, to be able to taunt through that. Now, you're going to want to be able to speed up your Old Ben. So strategy on that, some people are actually taking out their Leias and putting in Old Ben, because Old Ben does give some buffs for ATF, and then you can use your uber fast Thrawn to throw his turn to Old Ben, and then Old Ben will get to taunt. And then when somebody fractures Old Ben, which will happen, Old Ben will still have his taunt sitting there for another round, which really forces their fire onto one person and gives you a chance to do what it is that you're wanting to do. So you could take Leia out because she's not as effective on defense and put in Old Ben, and that would definitely make for a more defensible team. Just a thought. But again, on offense, the team you have is doing phenomenally well. You did ask specifically about your bounty hunters and kind of which bounty hunters you should be focused on. And so when I look at your bounty hunters, I'm blown away because you have Boba Fett, Cad Bane, Dengar, and Zam already at gear 12. I don't even have them at gear 12. That's crazy. It looks awesome. Really, if I was going to ignore one, it would make the most sense to ignore Greedo. He's gear 9 and 4 stars, and he really isn't very good in the game anyway. So IG-88 has the ability block, and obviously he's gear 11 already. You're one piece away from him being gear 12, and you have 2 stars to go, and he's a very fast and easy farm. So I would finish off IG-88, but definitely you want to focus on the top 5 that are your top 5 and not worry so much about Greedo. As far as your Imperial Troopers, it's like, what? They're all gear 12. This is absolutely baddie. This looks amazing. And definitely with your General Veers, the one thing I noticed is Aggressive Tactician is not Zetaed, but you have everybody at gear 12. Kind of crazy. You might be able to get through without his Zeta because you have everybody at gear 12, but man, his Zeta makes it a cakewalk to zip through the dark side territory battles. Even with it having been overtuned and needing to be reworked, I still was able to go 4 for 4 on every battle with General Veers because of his aggressive tactician. So for me, since you're talking about dark side territory battles, where can you shore it up? I would definitely, because this is the second best team in the game, I would definitely put a Zeta on aggressive tactician. That will make a huge difference. And I don't need to look at your Night Sisters. I'm just curious. Oh my gosh, crazy. This is like me going to the zoo and checking stuff out. And I don't have the Zetas on either the Great Mother or Plague Bearer either. They're not necessary, but if you were going to do a Zeta on Mother Talzin, I would do it on Plague Bearer first because it's a unique, which means she can be ran in other teams aside from a Night Sister team. And then if you were going to do another Zeta, do the Great Mother last. But you don't need either one of those. This is the #1 best team in the game for dark side territory battles. With what you have, even with no Zetas, this team can zip from start to finish and just smoke everything. Asajj Ventress is phenomenal in this route. Same with Old Daka, and the Night Sister Zombie is really the MVP because the Night Sister Zombie, she dies over and over and over and over and over, leaving all your other zombies completely and utterly available. Now, the team I would build with all of this is I would have a Mother Talzin lead, Asajj Ventress, Old Daka, and the Night Sister Spirit and Zombie. And the reason is you don't need that stealthing mechanism of Night Sister Acolyte because you're not even going to worry about dying. Now, if you had a weaker team, which you don't, but if you did, you might obviously not have Night Sister or Spirit available, and that's where I would suggest to other people to have the top 5 that you have, including Night Sister Acolyte. But for you, I would use the Night Sister Spirit. That does a ton of damage. Very, very cool character, and it's really hard for them to hit with all that foresight up. So I was just curious, had to come check out your Night Sisters and see what they look like, because they are the #1 team in the game for Dark Side Territory battles. As far as Empire goes, I see all your characters. 5-star Colonel Stark is sufficient for the entire territory battles. The Imperial Probe Droid will need to be 7 stars at some point. So at some point, you'll have to get the remaining 3 stars. We will earn those through the Darkside territory battles, but we're only going to be doing probably 1 a month. So it's going to be a slow grind to get the Imperial Probe Droid to 7 stars. Yeah, if you're getting 30 to 50 shards for each month, it's still going to take 7 to 12 months to get this Imperial Probe Droid to 7 stars, and it was built for the Darkside territory battles. So since you're a Kraken, if there was one thing I would tell you to Kraken out on, it would probably be the packs for the Imperial Probe Droid to get him to 7 stars, definitely. But the rest of your Empire looks phenomenal. I did want to talk about Death Trooper really quick, just because you have him maxed out, you use him in ships, and you're going to use him in your Imperial Troopers, and that is Krennic's Guard at level 7. It's a unique, and it's an amazing Zeta. I actually have the Zeta myself, and I run him with Director Krennic anytime I get a chance, and it's unbelievable. I really, really think it's amazing. And this is 2 birds, 1 stone with the Zeta. This Zeta gives your ships more health and speed because he has a ship available to him, obviously, the TIE Reaper, and anything you can do in that to make your ship's arena stronger you want to do. So Krennic's Guard, you definitely want to Zeta at some point just to max that ship out, because at this point this is one of the only things you can do to make that ship faster and healthier. And also it makes this very viable combination with the others. Now, you gave me a Zeta rundown where you said you wanted to do Grand Admiral Thrawn's lead, R2-D2's first unique, CLS's learn control, Han Solo's shoot first, and Old Ben's ability to do his double taunt, his devoted protector. That's a great Zeta plan that you have, but I would actually pause all of that and throw Veers and Death Trooper above that. So it goes, I would say, Zeta Veers, Zeta Death Trooper, Zeta Grand Admiral Thrawn, then R2-D2, CLS, Han Solo, and Old Ben. And the reason is you definitely have a dark side focus right now, and you asked me about the dark side territory battles, and the Veers, Death Trooper, and Grand Admiral Thrawn, those 3 are going to serve you the best for the 3 that you have available for the dark side. So I just wanted to take a scroll through just for my own sake, because this is nutty. I just want to drool a little bit. Wow. Wow. Well, if getting everybody to gear 12 was a focus, you're pretty close. Let's see what your bottom is. Well, the good news is you know who the crappy characters in the game are, and you've left them to the bottom. I mean, Newt, Kit, Eth, Greedo, Jedi Knight Guardian, Coruscant, Ugnaught, Gamorrean. I mean, really, you've left the worst for the end, so that's really pretty good. But no, pretty amazing, pretty blown away. Again, I know you don't really need a roster review because you've got everything, but you did want to know about your bounty hunters, and like I said, I would keep your Cad Bane and Zam Wessel for sure like you thought. I would just ignore Greedo. For the dark side territory battles, I would focus on your General Veers, getting that Zeta, and Death Trooper, getting his unique Zeta for Director Krennic, so you can run Director Krennic most of the time with that team, except for the Imperial Trooper only nodes. And then as far as your Zeta plan, I would stick in those 2 dark side, the Veers and Death Trooper first, and then go into your plan, which was Grand Admiral Thrawn, R2-D2, CLS, Han, and Old Ben. By doing all of that, you're going to be very, very impacted. And I'm telling you, you could do multiple things. Put Old Ben into this team if you want more defensibility. You could either put it in Grand Admiral Thrawn's slot, or you could put it in Leia's slot. If you put it in Leia's slot, you will definitely not make any friends on your arena board, because Old Ben, if you have a really fast Thrawn, will get to go first and taunt, or you can use his ability block right off the bat. There's so many strategies with Old Ben that it's really, really fun. And Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum is a nightmare. Even if she's not getting all the buffs that she needs for her whirlwind, she just cannot be stunned, and you can't put down debuffs, and she hits like a truck. Really, really good. But anyway, I hope this helps, addicts. Thanks for coming over to Team Instinct. Thanks for being a patron of mine. I really do appreciate all the support that I get from everybody. This is one of the first Krakens I've ever done on a roster review, and probably not my last, but I probably won't see one for a while. If you guys want to drool a little, you can do the drooling down in the comments down below. As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.